Hey, welcome to Reliable Source. I'm Jonelle.
And I'm Kirsty, and we're both journalists in Europe's biggest newsroom, BBC News, and we also work on the BBC News TikTok account. And every week we come here to tell you about the stories that we are the most obsessed with.
This week, is social media helping young people living with cancer?
I do think most people are there to be supported, but I definitely saw a correlation between when things were going badly, people, you know, your views are up, your followers are up, your engagement, and then when you're doing well, it's like people are like...
Plus, why have Gen Z checked out when it comes to work?
If I'm going to work, I actually want to go for my hours. I don't want my employer to put my mental health in the toilet. You know, I don't want to mortgage my sanity to go to work.
And why are the kids caught up in the post office scandal looking for compensation?
You can't bring our childhood back, but you could repay what was taken away from us at least.
Let's go.
We heard some devastating news about a TikTok creator who's just 22. Her name's Leah Smith. She died of a rare form of bone cancer.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Leah's videos on my For You page, but I had a look on her page and she's documented everything about her cancer journey.
Hi guys, we have some pretty positive news to share with you. A very good thing that has started today is the chemo tablets. I'm feeling a lot better and a lot more secure. And I actually have a little daily vlog coming that I done the other day, one of the days that I went out. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Starting chemo tablets again, we'll hopefully be able to do vlogs again.
She did vlogs, she did videos about getting a new tattoo. She's got like all sorts of videos on her page, but it goes back for ages and ages and ages. She documented like every single part of it.
It's so interesting to see someone that had cancer just film themselves go through that. It's just interesting. And I think we were having this conversation and we were just like, it's how, like, what are the benefits, what are the drawbacks of sharing such a sad diagnosis online for the whole of the internet to see? She had over 500,000 followers, so people were really keeping up to date with her life. But since she's died, there's been lots of tributes on TikTok for her, basically just saying, you know, rest in peace, Leah. So joining us now is Shell Rowe, who's a cancer survivor and content creator. Welcome, Shell.
Thank you for having me, darling.
And Brad Gudger, who is the founder of Alike, which is a social media platform for people that have cancer. Thank you guys for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Oh, gosh, it's a devastating story that we've kind of brought you to talk about today. And I know you, Shell, you've made a TikTok with a tribute to Leah. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I've been following Leah for years, and we were in contact quite frequently when we were like both going through treatment and just like supporting each other. And obviously it was really like devastating and shocking news, because I don't know about you, but even though like you know so many people with cancer, it never gets any less shocking when people pass away. Yeah. You just think like a miracle will happen. Like, yeah, it was devastating to see.
Yeah. It's wonderful that she shared so openly so other people could connect with her and her experience.
Yeah, because Leah's videos had like millions and millions of views to the point where people were like, you know, really, really invested in her journey. And I scrolled down her TikTok and it went on for ages and ages and ages. Like, it wasn't just a few posts. It was like she was giving every single update of her treatment.
People absolutely adore Leah. Like, it's been so lovely to see the outpouring of love and like, because she shared so like bravely and so honestly, and like everyone has just been absolutely like rooting for her for years, like myself included, always like watching and like hoping for the best. And I had like a similar amount of support like with my journey. Like, it really becomes a bit of a crutch. Like people helped me through my cancer diagnosis so much. Like, it's crazy how powerful social media can be. Like, I know it has the negatives, but like it was so positive for me, and I hope that Leah felt that positivity, and I think that's why she shared her story as well.
And Shell and Brad, you both are cancer survivors. Both of you have shared your story to strangers, pretty much. Tell us a little bit more about why you decided to do that, and kind of, are you able to tell us a little bit more about like going through cancer and how that kind of affected you?
Yeah, so I studied filmmaking at university. So for me, I've always kind of been someone who's drawn to, you know, videos, editing, that kind of thing. And when I got diagnosed...
what were you diagnosed with?
Not stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which is a type of blood cancer. And it was a really lonely and isolating experience because obviously not only are you going through this treatment, it's then like, hey, you can't see any of your friends. So they take your support system away. And TikTok was just it was this weird little thing at the time, this app that people were embarrassed to get on at first. And I went on there and it was never with the intention of I'm going to share my whole life. But the more that I posted, I felt like it was a real outlet for me. It was really cathartic and it was almost, I kind of consider it like my diary, to be honest. Like me and Brad always speak about the chemo fog you get going through treatment. And I couldn't remember a lot of the ways that I felt or the things that I was going through. It's so much that happens at once. So I started documenting it almost in this like filmmaker style. It gave me some purpose, like really, because I didn't leave the house in about a year. We'd go to Tesco's at night. It was like, do you want to go to Tesco tonight, babe? Only if there's less than 3 people in the shop, though. But yeah, it was like, it gave me a bit of purpose. I felt like I was hopefully turning the diagnosis into something positive. It felt that way for me, at least.
And Brad, you also experienced loneliness during the process of treatment. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I got diagnosed with leukemia when I was 19, and that came with so many emotions, experiences, thoughts, and then got diagnosed again. So I relapsed and experienced it at 24. And I just felt that the hospital environment kind of wraps you in cotton wool and they look after you. They make you feel supported. The nurses, the doctors, all of the medical professionals, your family can come in to visit you. But I really experienced like the raw feeling of loneliness after 6 o'clock when everyone clocks off and you only have the night nurse on shift, or waking up at 2 a.m. randomly with sweats, struggling to take my medication at night, and just felt in this digital world where we all communicate through our phone, how isn't there a platform, a social media platform where people can just share their authentic stories without putting a filter on it, without worrying about how many likes and engagement they will get. This is a platform purely to just share your lived and raw experiences. And there wasn't anything. And then when I delved more and more into the idea of loneliness and cancer, 80% of people diagnosed with cancer experience loneliness. And it gets worse as you get into survivorship as well, actually. Loneliness and isolation can impact your mortality by 26%. So when you compound that with cancer, it can affect outcomes and it can affect your physical health.
That is huge.
I'm not surprised though.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
So do you think you were able to combat loneliness through having that social media following through, and you were updating your followers?
100%. Like you go from not being able to see your friends for maybe 6 months at a time, and if you do see them, it's at the end of your driveway, 10 metres away with a mask on. And then you're having interaction with these people every day that are like saying such lovely things. Posting on social media retrained my brain into thinking, okay, how can I spin this into a funny video? 100%.
So you were able to create this community that were able to kind of like be with you in those moments. Brad, like obviously you didn't document your journey, your treatment in the same way. And you now are exposed to so many people who use your app. How has that kind of helped them?
I didn't document my story when I was in hospital. I think I only have one photograph when I was in my hospital bed because I'm incredibly vain and I had no hair. So get that camera away from me. But I wish I did actually, because I mean, we all do it. I look through my Instagram story archive from like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, and it's where your memories are, right? So I wish I did in a way, but I suppose that's what I'm doing now with my work, is reliving moments, meeting incredible people and developing friendships like with Shell and others in the community, and connecting based on shared lived experiences, people just being authentically real for themselves to other people.
What are the benefits of sharing your journey on social media, and like what are the drawbacks?
100% the community that it builds.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Hate the community.
I hate people, actually.
No, the community, being able to remember.
Yes, absolutely.
At least I've got this place where I know like in this moment, this is exactly how I felt. This is how I coped with it. And over to you, because I can't remember my third point.
Positives. You get to meet incredible people.
Yeah.
Case in point. But what I'm starting to see when it comes to people sharing, we all know the pitfalls of social media, right? And you give somebody a platform, sometimes they can maybe misuse that space and that platform. Hurt people. And I think you can sometimes find yourself in a situation where you have to really take yourself out of it to be like, I am not the problem here. They are giving me aggression or are targeting me in a way because it's not personal, but they're going through a lot. Does that make sense?
And Shell, you have had loads of views on your videos, but you said that you've had like horrible messages. I just find that crazy to believe. Like, who would send you a nasty message?
So 95% of the social media that I've experienced is really positive.
Yeah.
I know it's not the case for all like content creators. Some people, that balance is really off. Yeah, unfortunately, you just get some. I don't even know how to describe these people. Like, they would send. That's the problem. When you make yourself so vulnerable online, like you say, some hurt people are then going to want. You're an easy target.
Yeah.
You're so easy because they know what's going to get under your skin. You know.
Exactly.
I used to post, you know, oh, I'm cancer free for the first, second, third, fourth time, and then you'll get someone comment, well, it's just going to come back again. Like, count your days. People would be like, they might.
Horrible. That is really it's awful.
On some videos, it'd be like they wouldn't find you funny, and they'd be like, your cancer should have killed you. And at the start, I was like, this is like crazy to get messages like this. And now I'm just like,
That's awful.
I know that you must just be like really unhappy. Unfortunately, that is always going to be the case with social media. Not everyone is going to want to use it positively.
But you've been so good because I saw some of the videos that you made with your hair before, and you kind of dressed up like a bauble, Christmas bauble. That was incredible, by the way. And
That's the first one I ever did. Do you know what?
She painted her face
The Rice
completely
Krispies
red.
were my
Have you seen-
Oh my God, some
And the
of them.
sequins, that was my favourite as well. The sequins
I think
was my
that took
favourite
about
one.
8 hours.
So for
Yeah.
people that haven't seen, can you describe what this looked like?
So when I lost, oh my God, unhinged is what it looked like. When I lost my hair, we would do like hairstyles, and my girlfriend, she was so good at it. Like, she would do the hairline as well.
Yeah.
And we did like temporary tattoos, like strawberry laces. So I had
The strawberry
what's your name?
laces.
The obese.
It was a bob, right?
Nah, that was it was giving. It was
Yeah.
giving. And the bangs.
But
we
yeah,
love
the bangs. The bangs.
Oh,
They
God.
took so long to do.
You mentioned the basketball.
Oh yeah.
That was my favourite one. I
I
loved it.
went down the high street. We had the windows down in the car, and we turned on like High School Musical. You know, get your head in the game. And I was like bouncing my head up. I think I scarred my community. They were not ready for that.
God.
But genuinely.
What a great way to kind of turn all of like what the little negativity there was into something that was so fun and made people smile and
this
laugh.
is the
Thank
thing,
you so
it's
much for
like-
doing it. Genuinely,
Stop
like, thank
it,
you.
you.
No, I will. You know, I'm the biggest fan. But thank you so much for doing it because it's sweet relief in something that is just so horrid to go through. And
This is the thing. It is a horrible thing. Like losing your hair. Like you feel like you lose your whole identity. We were speaking about how being queer as well can kind of add into that. So I used to have really long hair, and I was always worried about having short hair as a lesbian because I was like, I don't want to be stereotyped as some angry feminist lesbian man hater, all these things that people think, like completely
Just
irrationally
because you have
think.
short hair.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like before I think I was passing, so I felt quite shielded that like.
As in, people might think you were straight.
Yeah, like if they saw me on the street, I feel like, okay, I'm not going to get hate crime because I can pass. People they won't necessarily know unless they got to know me that I'm a lesbian. And then when I lost my hair, when I got diagnosed with cancer, that was one of the first things I thought. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my hair and I'm going to lose this shield that I have up. Like, people are going to look at me, you know. I'm not trans, but I started getting transphobia from people for having short hair. Like all the time, these horrible comments. And it was just crazy. It's like you're already navigating your cancer diagnosis and then your identity changes overnight.
triple
And
whammy.
like,
one thing after
that's
the other.
so many
I mean,
things
I would
change.
never have thought about that. The way that, like, not only you get this medical diagnosis and you're right about what it means for you, but also like what it means for how you're perceived. That's just awful.
Because I dress quite masculine as well. Like, I know I am a tomboy, but like I would then go into the women's bathroom because I didn't have hair, and I mean in these clothes, like people would stare me up and down, and I just always felt like eyes on me. I was kind of like, well, you know, my hair can grow back and I can kind of escape this, but to kind of experience it, it is just horrendous how cruel people can be. The funniest thing is that losing my hair, I really have never felt so myself. It's like I've always been a tomboy, but it was this fear of this like homophobia that like I thought, no, I can't be too masculine. Like there's got to be a line. I've got to have some femininity. And I went on this whole like journey with my gender and just really like embracing my masculinity and my femininity, and like it's been all up and down, and all thanks to cancer, to be honest. Like I've never felt so at home in my skin. So as many like bad things that have come from it, there's also a lot of good that has come from it.
And your hair, by the way, it looks stunning right now.
Yeah, it was really
As soon as I walked in, I was like, wow.
It's made me really appreciative of my genes that I got from my mother of good hair. Because I've lost my hair twice now before the age of 30, and it's still thick.
It's thriving.
It's thick as it's ever been. It's thriving.
Fantastic. Shell, I wanted to ask about when you were creating content, some of those videos where you either had bad news or you're struggling have had sometimes the highest number of views. Have you ever found that hard to deal with or come to terms with?
This was something I really struggled with because I grew this platform and my career and my job on, you know, sharing my experience with cancer. And it was like, okay, how do I show people that I am a person outside of cancer as well? And, you know, as much as like I'm sure 90% of your audience are very supportive and they are just there to, you know, like cheer you on, there's that percentage of people that want to watch the car crash. And it's quite difficult because you go from having all of this and people interested in your life, and then you're not dying anymore, and suddenly it's like, ta-da, lovey, ta-da. I'm like, where is everyone? Like,
it's people's like desire for trauma porn, right? Like it's
exactly
really
that.
wanting to
and
see
it makes you question, like, do people like me as a person? Did they just want to watch the car crash? And like I say, I do think most people are there to be supportive, but I definitely saw a correlation between when things were going badly, people, you know, your views are up, your followers are up, your engagement, and then when you're doing well, it's like people are like. So I've had to work to really like reestablish myself and let people get to know me. I'm still the same person. It's the same sense of humour.
Just to touch on what you said, Shell, around like gender, sexuality, being a member of the LGBTQ plus community, because I'm queer as well. And it's not just the queer community, it's ethnic minorities' experiences of going through cancer. I think that's where the aspect of community is really positive and really powerful, because we're seeing a huge shift of people getting together online and going, hello, like, why are my health outcomes with cancer worse than theirs because of the colour of my skin or because of who I love or because of where I'm coming from? And you're seeing the cancer community rise up and go, it's not good enough, we want more. And that's where social media and sharing stories is so powerful, because it can actually lead to real change.
Just before we go, I just wanted to mention that every single day, 7 people aged 13 to 24 in the UK are diagnosed with cancer. The majority of people under 25 don't actually know what the top 5 symptoms of cancer are. Are you guys able to share those with us, and any like tips?
Different cancers present different symptoms, but what I will say is any change in your diet, your appetite, your sleeping habits, night sweats, random bruising, fatigue, so that's chronic, feeling tired all the time, change in any form of routine. Please check your tits. Please check your testicles.
Tits and testicles.
Tits and T and T's. The T's and T's.
I'll add to that your neck, armpits and groin.
Exactly. Just in the shower, feel yourself like Beyonce. Give yourself a cheeky feel.
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your stories with us. We're actually really, really grateful.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for sharing and all of your wonderful work, Shell.
Love you, darling.
You're an inspiration. I've got you.
If you're looking for a new podcast obsession, we think you might like Murder They Wrote with Laura Whitmore and Ian Sterling.
Listen to some of the world's most jaw-dropping crime stories on BBC Sounds. Now, where were we? So I feel like so many people are just not working at the moment. On my Instagram stories, everyone seems to be enjoying life. And then I saw this Daily Mail article the other day, which was like, Gen Z don't want to work anymore. They want to sit home and drink alcohol at 2 p.m. And the headline made me laugh at first. And then I was like, like, is that actually true? Like, do we just not work?
Let's debunk this. Let's not just, stamp the lazy stamp on them. These kids are entrepreneurial. They've got the minds on them. No, they're creative beings.
So I scrolled down the article and there's these new stats from the Office for National Statistics, which is like the official stat people. So it is true that more young people, so yeah, they count that as like under 25s, are not working than ever before. And there was like a graph of like the different age groups and how many of them are like actively not looking for work was the phrase. So it's like not just they don't have a job, it's like they don't want a job. They don't care. They're not looking for work.
But to caveat that, some of them are students.
Yeah.
Some of them are starting their own businesses.
Yeah.
Some of them maybe just kind of burn out from the studying and the life, and they must be existing and doing something.
Okay, so with us now is Lola Abitogun from the Everybody Hates HR podcast. So you're an HR guru. And yeah, you know everything. We need your info. So 3 million under 25 working age adults are not looking for work. They don't want work. Mm-hmm. Does that surprise you?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily surprise me. I think when it comes to younger workers, there's sometimes get a lot of stick, like they don't want to work. Then, Kim Kardashian, like, no one wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to work anymore. But I don't necessarily think that's fair. I actually think that when it comes to Gen Z and younger workers in general, we kind of want to do what our grandparents' generation did, in the sense that, I'm a millennial, like my grandparents' generation, like they used to go to work between whatever hours they had, and when they went home, they were home with their families. They spent time. There was no like, oh, can you pop back in? There was no instant connectivity. They could actually be at home. And I think that's what a lot of workers want now, in terms of, if I'm going to work, I actually want to go for my hours. I don't want my employer to put my mental health in the toilet. I don't want to mortgage my sanity to go to work. So I do think we're seeing a lot of people in Gen Z, a lot of younger workers who were just like, this is not working for me. Like, work is not working for me. And
work is not working.
Work is not working. But realistically, especially for young people, a lot of, unless we're talking about people that, grew up fairly wealthy, even some of those people, like, they don't have the option to just not work because we have to make money. So if people are abstaining from work, there's something there around why it's not working for them. Yeah. The other thing I would say is that they're actually more entrepreneurial than other generations. So this is the age of, digital natives. You've grown up in the world of the internet tech millionaire, like regular people that look like you, look like me, look
like me.
Yeah, that look like all of us now, actually. There's a visibility there that you can you can start your own business from scratch. These are just things that we would have never thought before, but they're so accessible. But I think it's the idea of having the flexibility, not having people police what you're doing, that value exchange, right?
I know we spoke about the difference in generations, but actually in the last couple of years, so at the end of last year, it was 4.5% of that younger group, so 16 to 24-year-olds weren't actively looking for work. That was only 0.1 in 2020. So even in the last 3-4 years, the amount of people not actively looking for work has jumped up. Mm-hmm.
I think this generation, they have the first coming into work now, people that have come in kind of post-pandemic, it's been really hard for them. So I can imagine it could become very easy to become disenchanted or feel like maybe the workplace is not for you, or just not even have the confidence to do it. Or maybe, again, you're one of those people that started a side hustle or did something during 2020 and now you're just continuing to do that. A lot of these people, it's not that they're never going to work, but at the moment, maybe they're just like, I'm not up to it. Mentally, I want to prioritize my mental health. Maybe let me take some time to think about what I actually really want to do, because if I'm going to go and really put my all into finding a job and give them sometimes what feels like your life, you want to be doing the right thing. I think that thing about actually taking time out just to rest and reflect on what you want to do is also something that a lot of people are doing now.
Wow.
I don't think any of that is negative.
You've got to think about what do you actually want in life. And I think after you finish school, after you finish university, where's the time for that? So maybe it's a good thing they're doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
And sharing all your, everybody hates HR insights. So if you are a loyal sourcer, you would have remembered we did an interview with a son of a former post mistress. That is somebody who looks after a post office. His name was Adi Misra, and his mum Seema.
She was falsely imprisoned for the post office scandal, which is where so basically some faulty computer software went wrong in post offices across the UK, and loads of sub-post mistresses and sub-postmasters, which, like you said, are just the people that run the post office, got falsely imprisoned, fined and put in jail for crimes they didn't commit. So they were accused of stealing money from the post offices, basically. And his mum was one of these people.
And if you remember the episode, Seema was actually pregnant at the time, and Adi just had no idea what was going on.
11th of November 2010. That's my birthday, and that's when my mum got taken away from me.
And this was only your 10th birthday as well?
10th birthday, yeah. And so my parents told me like they're going to like a special hospital or whatnot, because at that time she was pregnant with my brother too. So me being like the naive little kid in that time, I believed it. And I thought she'd be gone for like a month or so, a couple of weeks to a month, and I'll be able to see her.
So the people involved who were falsely imprisoned are getting compensation, but actually the children of the people who are involved, like Adi told us, had a massive effect on their life, and he was talking about how it impacted his life, what happened to his mum, but he's not had any compensation. So now a group of these children have come together and said, we want to be compensated.
They've united,
and they're like, hold on, this massively affected my life. So we caught up with Adi after this had been announced, and here's what he said.
My childhood has been affected completely. It's been tainted. When my mum got sent to prison, it was on my 10th birthday, and even after, when she came back, our financial situation was really, really bad. I started working at the age of 13 as well, just to help out. Whatever income I had, I was giving it to my parents, because that's how bad we was. That was our financial situation. And not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but a good 5 to 10 times, we had bailiffs coming into our house as well. My bed, my desk, my parents' cars, TV or whatnot, everything was taken away from us. And this wouldn't have happened if this scandal never happened in the first place. And I do believe compensation is needed. You can't bring our childhood back, but you could repay what was taken away from us, at least.
So we'll keep in touch with Adi, and we'll be across any developments as this story, continues to go on, because it's a long one. Thanks so much for listening to Reliable Source.
Remember to tap subscribe or follow so you never miss an episode.
And we're on every platform you need us to be on: YouTube, BBC Sound, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, we're there.
So until next time, always get your news from a reliable source.
Bye.
Bye.